Welcome, everyone. Episode 71 of the Health and Wealth Podcast. Steve Giordano here today. And today I have a very, very taboo, a very controversial, but a very important message that I want to go through with everybody. And I'm going to call it Why 92% Fail in the Insurance Industry. And frankly, very, very high percentages in sales. And I'm doing this because my goal is to help as many people as possible not fall into the pitfalls that you will have in the insurance industry, so this way you can actually be profitable, be successful, and kind of live to fight another day. The first thing I just want to touch on would be this is hard. Being an entrepreneur, doing things where it's just on you, it's lonely. And it's hard. It's very, very rewarding. It has a tremendous upside, as obviously you can see, anywhere that you look for insurance. But the reality is there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of people that act like they make a ton of money in the industry because of the way that they present themselves on social media. And you honestly got to be careful of kind of who you're getting into bed with, because it's far easier to fail in this industry, and I'm going to touch on all these things, than it is to succeed. Now, in my opinion, a lot of things I'm going to talk about are very self-inflicted, and they're the things that you as the person need to avoid doing, so this way you can actually have success. But the first thing I just talk about is you have to really research before you get into the insurance industry if it's for you. Right? It is, number one, a business. So the biggest problem, and honestly, you'll probably hear me say the biggest problem a lot of times because there's a lot of big problems. One of the biggest problems is people start a business, it's what this is, and they're not actually starting a business the way you should start a business. They're actually starting a business, but they act like they have a hobby, right? So if you're doing this to run it successfully, it almost, I don't want to say takes 24/7, but it kind of does, right? Like you have to eat, sleep, and breathe it. It's not I clock in and I clock out and I get paid on Friday, and I can slack in my 40 hours that I did at my job, like it's not that. It's I have to work until I've made enough money to pay my business, pay my bills, and counteract the fact that 30% of the industry cancels their insurance, right? So like when you see a lot of these numbers, they're amazing and they're great, but the reality is like you got to take it with a grain of salt. 30% of people cancel their policies, and it's no different than if you ran, Amazon, amazing company, right? Amazon's not stupid though. They know 30% of people, maybe more, I don't know their exact numbers, but we'll assume 30% of people will buy something and return it based on the fact they don't like it anymore, based on the fact that whatever. And also in that percentage is theft. So when you now have an insurance business, you can't be naive to the fact that 30% of people will buy a policy and then think in 3 days, 2 days, a day, the next day, 7 days, they don't need it anymore. And you have to basically, what you have to do is outwork that percentage, right? So that's where the, hey, I don't clock in and don't clock out a lot of times comes into play. And the biggest thing too is the first 9 months of the industry, right? Because you have to survive the first 9 months. Now, a lot of people out there, they thrive in the first 9 months. And then what happens is sometimes they get kind of burnt out because it's a grind. So if you're not willing to get into something that's a grind and understand it, embrace it, and not just lip service the person that recruited you, that you're going to work that hard, don't do it because it's not for you. And frankly, the reality is, in my opinion, if 92% of people fail, that means that we should only have 8% of people that we actually want to work with and want to actually have in your business. And that's the truth. Because so many people do fail why do we want to actually even waste our time with the people that are not going to do the things that they need to do? So kind of backtracking a little bit, you're starting a business. So when you're starting a business, your thought process and mentality has to really change. And a big issue is a lot of people get into insurance and they think, I have to know everything about insurance. Now, you need to know about insurance, but what you really need to know, the grassroots and the foundation of what you need to know, is about how to run a business and how to own a business. And forget even recruiting others. Just you. You starting out are a business. You are the one that is going to go out, meet people, however you do it. If it's leads, hopefully, if it's people you know, if it's marketing online, if it's social media, you're going to be the one who, if you hunt and kill, you get paid. And if you don't get paid. So you're the one that is the business, first of all. So when you start a business, create an entity, create an LLC, create an S Corp. Look up the tax benefits of having either. Look up the tax benefits of having a business in general. Look at the good, the bad, the ugly. You have to weigh on what are the things I'm giving up, right? And what are the things that I'm gaining? If you're the type of person who feels security by someone paying you a paycheck for you to go to a job to work 40 hours a week, you make the paycheck, you get a 3% raise every year, and you have whatever potential to move up. If that's you and you're comfortable with that, keep doing it. If you're uncomfortable doing that and you want to, and you say, you look at it this way and you say, that person could fire me tomorrow. And let's face facts, the climate we live in, that happens a lot more than not. There's no loyalty, right? These companies that hire you, they don't owe you anything. So think to yourself, what makes me more comfortable? If that paycheck makes you more comfortable, don't get in the insurance industry. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll be happy, you'll be good. And maybe one day that will be uncomfortable. And you'll make the change. But if it isn't now, don't. If that, to me, when I started, I was uncomfortable in that world, saying, I'm capped at 100K. I can make a little bit more. I have little opportunity for advancement. I'm blah, 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 blah. I want more. I want to take the chance. I want to take the risk. I want to take the plunge. That's how I felt at that time, right? If you're that person, if that's you, then yeah, you should be the 8% that tries. If you're not, don't. Because I'm going to go through a lot of the things that you're going to come up against, and honestly how you combat them, and honestly how you kind of avoid them. So that's kind of the first thing is that mentality of who you are and what you're looking for. So now you come in, you start a business entity, you start an LLC. Now, you don't have to have money to start a business, okay? But you do have to have money to start a business. And here's what I mean by that. You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to start in this industry and a lot of industries. But you do need funds because you do need to be able to buy leads, people that are interested in your product. If you do not have a client base that's coming with you, and let's face facts, who does? Very few. You have to be able to buy the client base. And then you work that base of leads and you find more referrals in the leads, but you keep fueling the leads because you have to understand, like anything else, any investment that you're putting money into and putting work behind, it's an investment. And it's the only way that you will make it. You will be dead, quit tomorrow if you do not have a base of people to sell your product to. And this is where, when insurance agents, another humongous mistake that they all make is they want to know every product, every carrier, every company, which is the dumbest thing in the world. You don't need to know every product and every carrier. There's 3 types of insurance, okay? Go on YouTube, watch a video, whole life term universal. It'll take you 10 minutes. You'll know everything you need to know about every type of policy, okay? So let's get that out of the way. What you need is human capital. You need people who want your product. And you need to have the balls to spend money and invest money to have those people. If you don't have a set of balls, don't do this industry. Please, do us all a favor. So now I'm starting out, and I know that I have to have capital, okay? Don't use your capital. Rich people use debt and other people's capital, okay? If you have saved 1,000, 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, why in the world would you spend your money to start your business? Why? Use the bank's money. Use business loans money. Use their money, leverage it, keep your money, create cash flow from the money, pay back with 0 interest in a lot of cases if you use business credit and stuff like that, pay it back paying no interest, and create a machine of cash flow. Now, the machine only works when you fund it with capital to have leads and when you work. It's very simple. It's a simple formula. If you suck and know nothing about insurance and are the worst insurance agent in the world, if you had enough people and enough leads and enough hard work and time, if you had those things and you worked it that way, I'm pretty sure you'd probably stumble into people, as long as you were nice to them, that would buy some insurance from you. But instead, people worry about the wrong things. And that's the other part of this, the worry, right? There is fear and worry, one in the unknown, which is completely understandable. But there's also excitement and opportunity in the unknown. And you got to figure out what side of the fence you want to be on. If you want to be successful, you got to be on the side of the fence that says, I have to have stones and I have to get out there and I have to do it and I cannot be afraid. I cannot be fearful of judgment from people, from clients. People are going to say no to me. People are going to reject me. If you're not comfortable in looking at this from a numbers perspective as opposed to an emotional perspective, you're dead in the water. Like, it's simple. I have 100 people that have interest. Now, leads are leads. I don't care who they're from, where they're from. They all work. They all suck. They're all the same, right? Some people want it. Some people don't. Use the rule of 15%. I'm going to sit down and 15 out of 100 are going to have interest in what I'm selling. And I'm going to get to their home and 10 might actually do it if I can get them in the right scenario. And then the other side of it is you're going to have a lot of opposition in the way of what their health is, what they can afford, and what it is that they actually want. And do all of those things marry up? And that's where you have to have the persistence and the grit and the understanding that you're going to lose a lot of those battles, but you have to keep fighting them. It's the only answer. It's the only way. When people tell me, oh, my God, I'm struggling. I have debt with this carrier. Oh, my God, I'm not selling. What do you want me to tell you? There's one answer. Pick up the phone and call someone else. Go on social media and mention that you do insurance. Talk to people. Talk to everybody. Eat it, sleep it, breathe it. That's the answer. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Me giving you the IUL training ain't going to do a damn bit of good for you. You need to get out and get in front of enough people. The end. Period. So a lot of these new agents, they come in, they don't do this, they don't get in front of enough people, they don't actually work it, you know? And then, you know, what's the famous thing? You start now your business, and let's say you actually leverage the credit and you've said, okay, I'm committing, I'm spending this much a week in leads, I'm looking to whatever, 3 to 10x my money, you know, and nobody knows, right? Let's say somebody new who doesn't have a lot of experience and they just work. Like they dial, They see people, they put it out there, and they know nothing. And they just stumble by the sheer fact that they worked hard and met enough people and sold a little bit of insurance and sold, closed 3% or 3x their money, right? And then when you start doing it, you have people that 5, 7, 10x, sometimes more, because they do it and because they get better at it, right? If I put you at the free throw line, you never shot a basketball before, you'd probably be terrible. But if I put you there and you did it 100 times, I'm pretty sure you'd get a little bit better at it. And then you do that again and again and again. The other issue, or one of the other issues, is people think that this is like a sexy business. It's not. It's not. Most of the people that need our product or service are middle to lower America who don't have a financial guy or girl, and they need help. So that's the other problem. People get hung up on like status, I don't want to go in the hood. I don't want to meet people here. I don't want to this. I don't want to. Well, guess what? Those are the people that need you. Them. The guy who's rich and an entrepreneur himself and has businesses, or the guy making, $250,000 a year, like, he don't need you. He needs, the financial advisor that he's had for 10 years. He doesn't need you. The people that need you are out there. But what happens is, like, a lot of people think, the status of I want these clients. Well, good luck. Let me know if you find them. You might want to become a financial advisor first, then you'll find them. Maybe. There's a lot of competition for that market, but there's not as much of a competition for the lower to middle American market. So work your market and know your market. Know the people, the tendencies, and the things that they're looking for. And guess what's the way you do that? By getting out there and doing it. So a couple other pitfalls and things to kind of steer yourself clear from would be buyers are liars. People are bullshit artists. Like, go into appointments and go into phone calls and, like, don't believe people's crap, and keep every client, I don't care if they're a layup or they're difficult or they're this or they're that, keep everybody the same. That buyers are liars. There's plenty of people that are going to tell you everything you want to hear because they took the control, and then they're not going to buy, all the while you were the believer that they were, okay? So don't play that card. People will bullshit you all day long, 24/7. They will, okay? That's where you have to have enough people, and you need to have a great set of lenses on your eyes that can see through the bullshit. And if people are giving you that vibe, move on. Don't waste your time. Move on. The other big issue of the industry is because people don't structure that financial side, up front, using credit, making sure they have enough money to pay their bills, understanding that it is an advanced money business. That is what this industry is. And it's a blessing and a curse. So if you get paid a 9-month advance and 30% charge back, and you sell 1 and I sell 10, my 30% isn't going to hurt me from paying my bills. Your 30% is 100. And rewind that back, because that's important. So here's what that then means. You put out money to buy leads. You got advance money. You didn't work hard enough and you stopped selling. They canceled. You're in debt. And guess who's going to pay the debt? 1, you're going to pay the debt. And if you don't pay the debt, it's going to roll to your upline. When it rolls to your upline, they're going to basically sue you because you are now taking their money. All things that are avoidable by 2 things: investing in enough people and not focusing on one sale, and working hard enough. The funniest thing that I see from these agents is, oh man, I need to make this happen. I'm going to work so hard. And then they're not dialing at 8 o'clock. They're not door knocking. They're not working 60 hours a week. Well, let me get this straight. So you have no money and all the time in the world, but are you better than me that I'm the one working and calling and door knocking people and you're not? Explain to me how that works. And you know whose fault that is? The person that recruited you. Because they should have done a better job figuring out what it was that you were actually going to give this. And the minute that they saw that you weren't working, they should have cut it off. Because all you are is a liability at that point. If you're not going to give a business everything you've got, and you're going to treat it less than what you probably treated your last job, you're going to be part of the 92%. Period. The end. If you're also weak-minded and you're rattled by one issue, one decline, one cancellation, one no-show, if that rattles you, you're dead. Because that stuff will happen multiple times in one day, let alone how many times in weeks. And here's the only answer: to keep it moving. Don't worry about one client. Don't worry about one no-show, one close, one cancel. Don't worry about any of it. Great, they bought. Awesome. Who's next? Great, they didn't buy. Great. Who's next? Great, they got the client. Great. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? But instead, people, they milk, the 3 clients that actually had interest in the insurance, and they beat the living crap out of the lead, and then they sell nothing. And all they did is waste their time. Time is money. If you're not efficient and you're focused on the one guy who wants insurance and can't get anything, who cares? Move on. People are out there. Focus on the next one. Yeah, cool. You lost the battle. Lose battles, win wars. Simple as that. So thinking of other things, and it's a lot of stuff that, maybe some people don't tell you or you don't know. That's why I'm trying to do this, because I want to be very, very transparent and very, very helpful to people. If you're getting into this industry, a lot of people get into it really, really excited. I'm not a big fan of those people. Excited people, they get kicked in the face and then it's over. People that are even, those are the people you want. Those are stone cold killers that sell at a high level. You know why? Because they don't get, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And then, oh my God, this sucks. Here. Most of the time it sucks. Just so you know. It's hard. But nothing great was ever done easy. You look at any high-level athlete, any high-level actor, entrepreneur, there's so many successful people out there. Do yourself a favor. Stop looking at what they are today. Start looking at where they came from. When I started on the journey to business ownership and entrepreneurship, I was at the lowest point ever. Was not in a good financial situation, was not in a great situation. But you know what I said? I said, I'm not going to allow myself to stay where I am. I don't care what I have to do. I will be on the comeback. And a lot of people that fail are in that boat. Probably most people that get into sales or entrepreneurship are there because they're like, they failed at something and something didn't work and they're looking for the opportunity. And the opportunity is there. It is there. Make no bones about it. Go look up how lucrative and how big financial services is. Massive. One of the biggest industries in the universe. Yet 92% of people fail. Because it's It's a skill set that you have to sell. And it is also a commitment and a discipline. So don't let anybody fool you of anybody can do it. No. Not anybody can do this. 8% of people can. 92% of people cannot do this. And selling insurance is a skill. Yes, you have leads. They have interest. They have some interest in wanting what you have. If it fits a lot of criteria, budget, health, right type of coverage, right type of amount. If it fits all those things, but make no bones about it. Selling is a skill that needs to be learned, worked on, and sharpened. And not everybody can sell. Some people can fake it. Some people can sell for a little while. But the reality is this is a marathon, not a sprint. You can be in the industry in 1 minute and out of the industry the next. You can be highly successful for 3 months or 6 months and out because you didn't work it correctly. So now, let's say you're actually having some early success and you're making money and you're making deposits and life is good. Here's what you need to do. You need to say, great, I did a good job so far. I'm hanging in there, paying my bills, paying my business. I'm surviving. Great. Now I got to give it more. I got to give it more than I did before because you need to compound success. Compounded success will compound money in your bank account. But here's what a lot of people do. Oh, man, I was successful. Great. I made more money than I ever made in my life. Sweet. Let me go take off for 3 weeks. Meanwhile, their last job gave them 1 vacation a year, and they had to work, let's say it was 40 hours. 40 hours a week for the entire year, and they got 1 or 2 weeks off. But now all of a sudden you think like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship for most people, for that 92%, is actually probably the biggest curse ever because most people cannot discipline themselves enough to make sure that they do what they have to do on a daily basis. It's just reality, right? And discipline is hard. Like, nobody's saying it's easy. It's not easy for me. Like, do you think, like, I want to, like, oh, my God, let me go dial the phone on Monday morning? No, I'd rather go lay by my pool. But I also understand that the pool's got to get paid for. I got responsibilities. I have goals. And the reality is, to be successful, and maybe the biggest, and I know I've probably said that 17 times already, the biggest thing for people in the reason why they fail is because they don't embrace everything that encompasses this. And you really have to embrace everything. If you don't, you will fail. And it plays a game with your mind, and that's where that mental mindset and that strength comes from. You have to buckle down. And here's the other thing, man. Like, most of the world is working the 40 hours. They're ready to punch the clock. It's Friday, and then boom, they want to go out on Saturday and Sunday and just like chill, and they want to turn it off. And guess what? I was that guy for many years. And guess what? My income reflected it. And now I work differently, and my income reflects that. So you got to figure out who you want to be. If you want to live that life where you cut it off, cool. You're just going to cut off your income stream. What if on a Saturday, when other people were out at the beach, at the pool, chilling, what if you were talking to a couple clients? What if you were then reading a book about learning about annuities, whatever, watching a YouTube video, learning infinite bank? Like, what if you were doing those things? Do you think you wouldn't get ahead? Do you think, like, other people would beat you? You know? And at the end of the day, like, you're your own competition. But what's so cool, if you think about the positive of the 92%. It's that you can dominate all these people that fail. Dominate. Like, this is like the best time ever to have a business. But it's also the glasses you look at things. Other people say, oh, it's the worst time. Economy's so bad, blah, 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 blah. We're in a recession, blah, 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 blah. You want to know why? The reason is because people get so hung up on what the narrative is. The narrative of, oh, yeah, we're in a recession. Yeah, and? What do you think? There's no money now? What do you think? The money just went away? Oh, it's there. Get off your lazy ass and go get it. Go find it. Because guess what? Most people aren't. Most people are saying, oh, it's a recession. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm held down. The interest rates are high. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants this. Nobody's buying this. Guess what? If you say nobody's going to buy insurance, guess what? You sure as shit nobody's going to buy it. They're definitely not going to buy it from you. Or what if you looked at it this way? We just came off a pandemic. We just came off of more people dying than ever. There's never been a better time to sell than right now. But you have to find the right client. And when I say the right, I shouldn't say the right client. I should say the need of the client. But it all comes down to you have to have enough clients. If you starve your business, most of those 92% starve their business and have zero business even being in this industry. Zero. They don't have the balls to spend money. They don't have the intelligence to actually do it and actually understand it and absorb it and understand that it is a skill to sell. It's a skill. It's not like something that's, the hardest thing ever, but it is a skill. Those people, they don't wrap their head around that, and they think they're just going to kind of show up and be successful. Ain't how it works. You know why top-tier players are top-tier players? And again, you don't have to have quote-unquote talent to sell, but there's skill involved. You can build the skill, but a lot of that skill, it comes in time, it comes in repetition, it comes in you trying to better yourself. I know for a fact success for me came because I completely enthralled myself in everything that I was doing. Training, doing, working, learning, talking to people, putting in hours that other people weren't putting in. Because I wasn't dumb. You want to know what the number one motivator was for me? I wasn't going to fail. And then it became, all right, cool. I'm not failing. Now I want to be a massive success. And you start raising the bar on the expectations. Everybody was here, put on earth, to do something great. Everybody's got different talents, this, that, whatever. But if you're doing this, if you want to do this and you don't want to be great at it, don't do it, please. Do us all a favor. And everybody's definition of great is different, and everybody's, the income they're looking to make is different, and that's cool. Do you. But you got to at least do the things that are going to keep you alive, because you'll be on life support in this business real fast. You start spending money, you start getting advance money, you start getting chargebacks on advance money, and you start getting debt. And it comes like that. And then here's what happens. They're paralyzed. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And guess what you do? Go to work. Go call somebody else. There's other people that need it. Failure is not fatal. A shitty day doesn't mean it's a shitty week. There's opportunity all around you. But it's how you look and view what you're doing. If you're drowning, I had a guy say to me recently, I'm drowning. I said, yeah, you should start swimming. I'm drowning too. I'm just swimming. Do a doggy paddle, throw on some life preserver, whatever you got to do, brother. That's life. There's nobody coming to save you. If you want to not be the 92%, you got to do what the minority of people do. And here's a big key. Stop being a victim. Stop getting into this for 5 minutes and not committing to it and saying, it didn't work for me. Well, why didn't it work for you? It didn't work for you because you didn't work. You didn't listen. You didn't seek out knowledge. Like, you literally realize we live in 2023. I can go right now, YouTube, almost how to do anything and probably learn how to do most things pretty quickly because the information is readily available right in front of your face. There's no secrets. There's no, like, think about, like, college degree. Like, yeah, go to YouTube University. You can learn a hell of a lot. You can learn how to make a lot of money in a lot of industries by watching a few videos. Not that deep. Watch some training, learn some stuff, put in the work. We have a work ethic problem. You have 92% of people that sit on their ass and don't do anything. And they want it to happen. And they make every excuse as to why they can't dial the phone. Oh, I got to bring the kids here. I got to this. I got to that. Oh, yeah? Are you going to raise your kids to have no money? Because that's basically where you're headed. Because you probably had kids and didn't have the responsibility to even have them, and that's a whole nother friggin' story. But how about you actually, like, plan your time out and understand that this will take a lot of hours. If you're not ready, like if you complained working a 40-hour job, you're sure as shit not ready to do this. Because this takes more than that. You're a business owner of a business. But instead you treat it like it's, we're playing basketball on, pickup games on Saturday. Not how it works. Sorry to break it to you. Successful businesses take massive amounts of time, effort, energy. It's going to take everything you have. If you and your spouse and your family and your kids are not willing to give it everything you have, please do us a favor. Go away. Go do something else. Go live the 20 to 40 hour a week work life and make your income and get your 3% raises, and life is good. Nobody's mad at you. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm doing this because I want people to understand what it takes and not this sugar-coated bullshit. Anybody can do it. And, oh, my God, like it's the greatest thing ever. Yeah, it is if you do what needs to be done. If you don't, it sucks. Greatest industry in the world if you're a hard worker and you listen. Worst industry in the world if you're lazy. And let's face facts. We live in a very lazy society. Try and get a contractor to actually get work done for you nowadays. You got to flag them down. You're paying them and you got to flag them down to actually do anything. It's kind of amazing. So I know I'm going over a lot of stuff. I'm going to wrap it up here. Stay the course with what you're doing. Talk to people that have done it at a high level. Embrace the fact that you need to spend money to make money. Whether it's, like I said before, I'd prefer, and it makes more sense if you're using a bank's money, a loan's money, a credit card's money as opposed to your own money. Because that's what rich people do. Rich people play with other people's money and use it and leverage it. So live in that world, number one, if you want to be like those people. But don't quit when it gets hard. A lot of people that come in, you didn't have a lot of money coming in. What changed? You don't have a lot of money now. Let's course correct and get your ship going in the right direction. Everybody out there is a potential client for you. But are you talking to them? And I'm not saying you have to have leads. I said it before. You're not going to sell Bob and, your aunt and uncle, and it's not going to do it. It's not going to work. But it's part of the mix. Talking to everybody's part of the mix. So I hope a lot of this helps. I know I kind of went, a little emotional and, a little off the rails maybe, but I think it's important. The transparency is important. Telling you what's real, what's not is important. And you have to believe in the industry as well. It's an amazing industry, but it's not all, roses and butterflies all the time. It's actually typically not. But you can make it a lot better for yourself if you're just willing to really avoid the pitfalls and stay out of the 92% and be the 8% that win. So I hope this helps. Look forward to some more passionate podcasts coming up, and reach out to me at Real Steve Gio on Instagram. Like, comment, join us on the new YouTube channel. And just want to help a lot of people. I've had a lot of great mentors in the business and in other businesses that have helped me. And I'm looking to mentor people who want to live and be in the 8%. So we'll see you next week.